What is going on, everybody? We're back on it. Attack on Titan. Last episode was a little bit of a deep breath compared to those first 5 episodes we had with just crazy lore and story building, character building, time paradox looping, chicken before the egg, just a bunch of wildness. Last episode we finally got to, pause for a second, and it was kind of just old school Attack on Titan, kind of like season 1, season 2, season 3, where we as a viewer and the characters just didn't know what was what. We didn't know what was outside of the walls. It was just us, our ODM gear, and trying to fight off Titans the best we could. And I feel like that's what we got last episode. There was no Titan shifters involved, no otherworldly powers. It was just regular people doing their best to fight off Titans. We saw Niles and Pixis get their final send-offs. And then pretty much the big part of the episode to me was finally seeing Annie uncage, unfrosted, thawed. So I would love a complete episode dedicated to her. I'm curious, kind of whoever fills her in. I'm guessing Armin would probably be best because we've seen him going to talk to her on occasion. And again, is that him or Bertolt acting through him? What does she decide? Because pretty much I would say there's no sides anymore. Now that the rumbling has been started, there's nothing that they can do. So I don't think Annie can just take this patriotic view and be like, I'll be the one to stop him. Like, Annie, relax. I don't know if you've seen what's going on out there, but so I'm curious, like, what does she think, and like, is there any purpose to her in this story? So that's kind of my question. My question to start the episode is, what's Annie's purpose in this story? Do you think she holds any actual weight in the rest of the show? Or is it just like, oh shit, we still got her frozen in there. How do we get her out and just wrap up her story? All right, complete unthaw. Okay, she's out. Everyone, she's alive, and they just like continue. I have absolutely no idea. And then kind of the like epiphany moment that Armin had when he said, Eren undid all the hardening. Now, when Reiner said he lost a chunk of his, did he just lose a piece, or did he lose all of his hardening? Because I always get it confused. Are we saying his armor is a product of hardening? Like, he doesn't have to do it, it's just there. But when Eren undid it, he did lose a piece. So now, is it a permanent thing if Reiner tightens up again, is he going to have his full plate of armor? Is he going to be missing it? Is none of it going to be there? I have absolutely no idea. Let's go ahead and get it started. We're dragging this over here. Pressing play on the episode right now. Someone got to go fill that girl Annie in, bro. She doesn't know what's going on. This is what I was saying. This is what I was saying. People were like, no. Eren had them come out of the walls, and there wasn't going to be like house damage or, all this and that. They're going to walk around. They're not going to kill any of their own people. Like, their own people are dying. Like, Eren did that. Hitch is gonna find Annie. Maybe Annie will be able to call all the Colossal Titans to her. So I don't know. She probably can't override a founding royal blood connection ability. Yeet! Yeah, Annie ain't got that in her bag right now. Yeah. Is that a bluff, though? Does she have the juice? Yeah, I don't think she does. I'm gonna call her out on it. Oh, man. Alright. We're there in the opening here. I'll have to cut out the song and all that kind of stuff. I've been told I can watch the opening now, so this is my first time watching the opening at all. So we'll go ahead and enjoy that. But yeah, it's just like the Annie... Like, the streets aren't what they used to be. Everybody is trained up and they're on pins and needles. It's not just going to be that easy to just come up on people. And just because she's just so, like, weak and malnourished and hasn't been, like, what is she planning to do? And again, like Hitch said, can she even transform right now? Absolutely no idea. I would not mind an episode dedicated to Annie, just to at least fill her in, see her reactions. Oh wow, they actually showed Annie thawed out and her female Titan form. Yeah, bro. I'm glad I didn't watch that shit. But yeah, just curious on Annie backstory. And then the following question after that, everything just comes down to like Eren is, does he go through with it? Does he do others stop him? Whether it's Ymir, Zeke, Armin in the squad, do they physically or however they can actually stop him? Or does he make the decision to not go through with it? I don't know. And yeah, that was what I brought up like episodes ago. Episode 82, titled Sunset. I was like, when these walls go down, like, there's collateral damage. Like, people are going to die. And people were like, no, Eren made sure, you know, they went around. They're not going through. No houses destruction. Like, shit is destroyed. People are dying. She can remember it. Everything that people have told her, she was able to hear. Wow. That's fucked. That's like being like put to sleep, but being able to like realize what's going on. That's kind of, for 4 years? Oh, that's gotta mentally crack you. But, I mean, even stopping this, though, it wasn't like they were, like, the world saviors or some shit. Yeah. She just wanted to go home. He comes to her with that the day before she sails off? After everything you put her through? There's gonna be no place left. Yeah, there's not gonna be... I want to see, like, are they going to actually show us the Titans walking across the ocean? Because I kind of want to see that. Because we know they're massive and they're huge. But I want to see them in the actual water, the ocean, to get, like, scale. Like, is it just, like, they're barely up, like, at their eyes? Are they just at the waist? Oh, God. We need Magath or somebody to show up. And be like, hey, like, shit's really going down. Did he just get his ass killed? Because maybe he takes out that one guy, but the rest just turn on him and kill him. It's so fucked. Because I understand what Connie's saying. Yeah, Mikasa, do whatever you want, girl. You get to decide. You should try to think for yourself. Correct. Yeah, it's chaos, Armin. Thank you, it's chaos. He's a lost cause. Armin said that. Mikasa don't want to hear that shit. The whole time he believed... Oh, wow. He's reflecting back to Erwin being alive over him. That it should have been Erwin over Armin. I agree with that statement, but we're here now, so what can you do? But, like, I'm with Connie, though. I mean, you gotta see it from Connie's point of view, you know. It's his mom, I want to get a chance. And it's the same shit. Connie's not gonna sacrifice a kid. We know it. He's not gonna do it. Whether Armin talks down or Connie gets there and has a moment to do it and doesn't actually do it, Connie's not gonna do it. But I don't blame Connie for talking that shit to Armin. Because Armin, if not for us giving you somebody to eat over making a choice... you would be dead as well. So I don't want to hear shit from you either. He told you? Well, damn. So, Floch's number 2 in command, correct? Right in the head. Right in the head. Correct. You always double tap the head. Tell you guys all the time, in every show, every story I watch. Double tap the head. Floch gets it. Had they double tapped Levi's head at the riverbank, he'd have been dead too. I mean, Floch's probably not going to make it to the end of the story. He might get killed right here, but salute to that man. Wow, he didn't tell what they're going to do. He unbandaged him and ungagged him and everything. Yeah, Connie's not going to give him up. He's over here, like, thanking him, and Mr. Connie's a good person, and it's gotta be just straight brute force. Hange's over there. She got Levi over in the bushes fucked up. Ugh. How the hell did y'all get out of the water, by the way? Again, it's anime logic, so we kind of get it. We don't watch previews around here. It's almost safe to assume Levi was probably like this close to like actually like Zeke didn't kill him like right there on the spot, but he was probably close to death's door. Then you take him tumbling down the river, just all that chaos going on, and then to get him out, find bandages, it's a stretch, but I'm sure the man's alive. Again, not the biggest Levi fan, so how that turns out doesn't really matter to me. The whole thing there at the end with flipping Connie just buttering him up, them going back and forth. Connie is not going to feed that man. Falco's not going to die. At least not in this way. Could he die before the story ends? Sure. But I don't see him dying by being fed to Connie's mom. It is fucked up, but I could also see Falco being the type of person, if like Connie really poured himself out, you know, about like everything he's been through and, you know, this being his mom, I could see Falco almost like just doing it for Connie's sake, you know? I could see that being an option, but he's already thinking about Gabby and thinking about Colt and needing to get back south, that I could see him not wanting to, but it wouldn't surprise me, the type of person that Falco has shown to be, that he would just like give into that. Armin going out there. This is the first time we saw Armin just straight up like renounce Eren. Just straight up said it. Like, what was the exact line that he said? That's the first time we've ever... Because this whole time when like everyone was like, guys, telling Armin straight to his face, like, we don't know Eren anymore. He's not for us. He's teamed up with Zeke. Armin's out there pleading to anybody that'll listen, like, that's not Eren. He's fighting for us. He would never do that. Now, on the flip side, Armin's just straight up like, hey, you know, it's not. What is it that he said? I want to see what he says again. That's the first time we've ever seen him like badmouth Eren. Hange kept dead right now, but what does he specifically say about Eren? Historia could be in danger, volunteers, and then he slides in something about Eren there at the end. We can't afford to think about Eren. He's a lost, just like chalking that shit up. He's not thinking about, like, Armin to me in this back and forth has almost just accepted, like, the rumbling. Like, it's happening. We can't stop it. He's not even thinking about like a counter plan on what could, how can we. He's just, Armin has always been the one to like, even though I'm not an Armin fan, like again, I was Team Erwin. I thought it should have gone that direction, but for the story purposes, it's, you know, it's going to be Armin. Erwin had lived a life and that was it. But Armin has always, you know, tried to think of another way, think of the good in people. How can we? It could be done. He just says, we can't afford to think about it. It's a lost cause. He's over there flattening the earth. Just let him do what he's going to do. It's over. We lost. We failed. And Mikasa's like, oh. Oh. And then he says, you know he's lost. And they just stand in silence. We've never seen him lash out like that towards, Eren, not directly, but about Eren. So that was wild to see that he just finally did that. Got a little bit of a Annie backstory. So her father looks like the same thing from another country. Somebody not of Eldian race had a child with somebody that was Eldian, and he got just dumped in the internment zone. Same thing with Annie. I think it was her mother that wasn't Eldian that had relations with an Eldian, and they couldn't keep it, clearly, so they just dumped it. He found it, so it's not her biological father. It's just interesting to see, like, it's almost like maybe she's got a little bit of, like, Stockholm syndrome of, like, he put her through a bunch of shit, was actually physically beating her. It was for the betterment of what he thought, you know, of them living better or her becoming a soldier and living out and pursuing and doing all these things. But then in the end, right when it comes time to fulfill everything he's been putting her through, he apologizes and tells her to make sure she comes back, and she, like, breaks down at the same time and agrees. So I don't know how that connection is. Seems a little wonky to me, but it is what it is. The Floch stuff is great. I just love it. I really, really love it. Just the character growth of, like, and we've seen characters much longer than him, like Armin, Mikasa, Jean, Connie, and then, you know, the main, you know, Eren, Zeke, you know, throw all those in there. We get way more backstory, way more character development across, like, tens of 20s of 30 of episodes. Floch doesn't even get that much screen time, but what I love about Floch so much is he was a certain way, he had development, and has not even faltered or wavered back to his original ways ever, period. And what you get in a lot of stories and a lot of animes and just shows, movies in general, is like, you see people will change, like they become stronger, or, you know, they become mentally stronger, or they stop doing these ways, but, like, when push comes to shove and they finally get, like, pressed to the fire, you'll see them, like, slip into their old ways or fall back into it. Floch was, like, the worst of the worst that, like, you could be, as far as, like, especially needing to be a soldier. Maybe if he was living a regular life, it wouldn't be that bad, but for what he needed to be doing, it was probably the worst of the worst, mentally. And now, the complete switch, and he's never faltered, he's not shaking while he's got the gun in his hand, he just sticks to it and is on that shit. And he doesn't take shit, and he tells everybody exactly what it is. That speech he gave at the end of Season 3 to Armin, Mikasa, and Eren is so great. It's like that, I don't know if you guys have seen that commercial where, like, that guy just is slapping everybody that comes up to him, like, relatives, brothers, old people, like, people just keep coming up to him, and he just keeps, like, slapping them back and forth. I felt like in that scene, that's what Floch did, but Floch was, like, speaking truth there. Just because you guys are a group of friends, and you got to bring Armin back to life, doesn't mean, like, when you break down what was actually happening, that y'all's choices was correct, that you weren't acting selfishly as well. So Floch's just a great character. And when he said, like, did Eren actually tell him the plan? Like, the full scale plan. I'm not talking about Eren telling Floch, like, hey, you know, I'm going to side with Zeke, but I'm actually just using him. Did he give him the full, like, breakdown of, like, not like I've seen the future, but, like, here's my plan, rumbling, we're flattening the world, this is for you guys. Like, did he give him all that? I don't know. That was wild dialogue to me. Trying to see if there's anything else we got. The Annie backstory, which we talked about. Her and Hitch hanging out. The rumbling. Annie backstory for about half the episode. Then we go into... Oh, yeah, the Eldians trying to convince the Marlins, like, hey, shit's happening. Down here, the Armin and Mikasa exchange. Floch just letting them know what's up. We see Elena there, slumped over in the chair. You see her sitting right there. I'm curious what she thinks. Floch says that Levi and Hange are dead, which we knew before that they weren't. At the end of the episode, they're not. So this is an interesting pairing here. Levi, who pretty much adds nothing to this pairing because he can't fight. Hange, Peak, and Magath. Again, I'm just curious. And then Peak and Magath talking about, like, what can we do? Honestly, all you could do is the world powers, whatever aircraft, heavy weaponry, bomb type thing, whatever you have on a destructive power scale, move it now as close to the shoreline as you can. Maybe you don't make it, you're like a country behind. Just mobilize everything you have to the shoreline. As fast as you can get it there. If you don't make it, it doesn't matter. Just get it there as close as you can. And literally just spray and pray. Just spray and pray and hope that You can take him out. You can take him out. That's the literally only thing. But it's like, do you have enough time to mobilize all that and get people to believe that you need to mobilize all that in time? That's the only thing I could actually see from a fighting standpoint. The same thing again, like, what is the plan? Like Armin sitting there and thinking about it. I'm thinking about that too. Like, I don't think there is a physical way that this can be stopped. I don't think like you can get like what's the Captain Planet where like everybody puts on their special ring, all the Titan shifters, you know, lock hands side by side on the shoreline and are just gonna beat back Eren and the Colossal Titans. Like, that's not like Peak standing next to Reiner and Annie and Falco and, you know, a couple machine guns behind them. Like, it's not, that's just not a real thing that's going to have any effect at all. So from an actual brute force standpoint, I don't think it can be stopped, other than like spraying and praying and maybe. So again, unless there's a way that like all the Eldians can connect to Eren through the paths and maybe consciously consciously stop him or consciously connect with him, that maybe he realizes this isn't the way, or he just makes the decision after has started it, like, okay, this isn't the way, and stops. I don't think he can be stopped unless he chooses to, or unless somehow Ymir and Zeke, because I still don't think this is what Ymir wants. So maybe at any point in time she can just pull that key. I don't know. Maybe at some point in time, Zeke being royal blood, he can override. I'm curious if there's any type of blood paths connection where Ymir or Zeke can override what Eren is doing. Because if not, I feel like it's going to have to come down to Eren making the decision that this is not the way. Or maybe this is the way. Absolutely no idea. We will see. Again, another deep breath episode. Not crazy action, but we're just building it up and building. You feel like the tension like building back again. It feels like the first episodes on the first part of season 4, where it's just like building and building to Eren just slaughtering the people of Marley in the internment zone. I feel like here again we're building and building and building until that rumbling happens. So we'll see. We got a bunch of side stories going on of this group with Peak, Magath, and Hange. You got Armin trying to go track down Connie. Mikasa's looking for a scarf, just hanging out. Floch's mobilizing a unit. But everyone's just handling, like, basic things on a ground level while this shit's going on. So, we'll see. I appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, favorite, subscribe, as always.